Today's video is just going to be a quick update on the Plug Power Symposium that happened yesterday.
Yeah, coincidence. Yeah, coincidence. Yeah, coincidence. Something that happens by chance, I think not.
What's the crack, everyone? Welcome back to Buy Wholesale. I hope, of course, you are all well. Today's video is, as promised, about Plug Power. We had a symposium yesterday, about a 6-hour event. Would be lying if I said that I even watched half of it, but I did dial in and out of it. As you've seen on the previous video, I had registered, so I had a good look at it. I'm going to just bring you a high-level summary of a report here that has a lot of the key things that I sort of took away from the event itself. Leading up to this, I told you all originally about Plug Power on Sunday. Now, it's been on my radar for many months. And it's in the space that we're looking to get into, the whole green sector, and I'll share my green playlist all about sustainability stocks, something that's very passionate to me, and I'm interested in these stocks for the future. Plug Power, ChargePoint are the two that I'm looking for the infrastructure in terms of getting these things fired up. Plug Power have the hydrogen cells, which is another interesting sort of side. But if you want to hear a bit more about that, you can go in and watch the first video on Sunday that I did, and then the last video on the symposium and what to expect. And the things that I said were to be expected, to be honest, that is what happened. I released that video on that day saying we're likely, from the research that I did, to get a supply deal. We got that with Airbus, which is fantastic. Great big deal there, and that'll serve Plug Power well for the future. And we also were looking for a guidance update. If you go on the Global Newswire, it gives a high-level coverage of it all, and let's just read it out. Company provides long-term 2025 guidance of $3 billion and updated 2022 sales of in and around $825 to $850 million. Again, for anyone new, Plug Power is a leading provider of the turnkey hydrogen solutions for the global green hydrogen economy, holding its 3rd annual Plug Symposium, featuring more than 24 global presenters, executives, thought leaders. In this event has attracted a record of 5,000 attendees from around the world. So just within that, you can see year on year, this is getting bigger and bigger, and I foresee that being the case every year going forward. So the highlights: establishing a long-term 2025 guidance of $3 billion in annual sales. So they've increased that. We'll come back to that later. Updating 2022 guidance sales, as I said, 65% growth from 2021. Phenomenal. Obviously, that's huge growth. But again, we kind of expected the growth to be there. We're buying a growth company, but that is increasing the growth from previous. So that is a great thing. But again, kind of expected. I mean, if I knew about it on Sunday when I was telling you, Wall Street knew about it. Executing a definitive agreement to acquire Applied Cryo Technologies, a leading provider of technology, equipment and services for the transportation, storage and distribution of liquefied hydrogen, oxygen, argon, nitrogen and other cryogenic gases. Ford Secure Future Industries for a 50/50 joint venture in the build of a gigafactory in Queens Island, Australia. To me, that was the standout bit of news that came from this. A gigafactory, Queens Island, Australia. That sounds huge. A big venture there, 50/50, so half of the gains, also minimizing the risk by 50%. The unveiling of the Hivan hydrogen fuel cell powered van prototype in North America to be highlighted in the remarks. CEO Renault Group, Plug Power JV partner, and if we go onto this website here, we've got a little picture of it. Good partnership deal with Renault, all positive. Confirming plan of 500 tons per day liquid green hydrogen generation capacity by the end of 2025, which will include installing 13 green hydrogen plants by the end of 2025. That is huge growth. Projecting ambitious equalizer sales of 100 megawatts by 2020, which will generate 50 tons per day of green hydrogen. So I appreciate that that's very high level, but you can see there was a lot of the partnerships, deals, expectations, all was expected in advance of this meeting, and I think this was very much a case of buy the rumor, sell the story. Because as you can see, yesterday the share price sunk 5.3. Now, I did comment under my previous video, and I did say in that video that it could be a case of buy the rumor, sell the story, and because of the rise that we have seen since Sunday leading up to this event, I stripped half my money out on the opening bell. Once I seen this wasn't going to run any further, I thought perhaps it may have run, because when the bell opened at 2:30, there was still about another half hour till the event. But by then, guys, it was the classic stage of buy the rumor, sell the story. So I sold half. I'm going to let the dust settle. I'm going to continue buying back in next week. It's still a long hold, but you can always play these things. And Tesla's earnings are coming up next week, and I'll also be playing that. I do this from time to time. More times than not, it seems to work out well. But there is obviously opportunities that something amazing could have been announced on this that could have shot the thing right up. You just never know fully what can happen, and you really can't time the market. But I like to try and play a bit, but I didn't know for sure, hence why I only sold half. Now we've got a 5% dip. which is a great buying opportunity for me. But however, I'm still green on the shares that I own. So I'm going to hold off till next week and see if it dips a bit more. It could dip just on the back of this and just sort of go flat for the next couple of weeks. Of course, I will be using the charts, but if we look at the charts here, we're still above the 9-day moving average. We've still got a buy signal. It still looks very healthy, but there's a lot of volume that came in yesterday, and we do have quite a large red candlestick, and we're on this resistance on the Fibonacci, but the main one I look for is my 9-day moving average, and we're still above that. The MACD looks strong. If we go to the hour graph, then we can see a huge big sell coming in here, sort of on the opening bell. I quickly got out. And it did rise. It actually went back up, and I thought, oh no, here we go, I made a mistake. The conference is going well. There's obviously news coming out, and that may have been the case. However, the general sentiment is to go down, and it'll be interesting to see what way it opens today. In the pre-market, we're only down 0.03%, so we're pretty much no change. But I would anticipate this to probably dip a bit more, but that's okay. That's not a sign of the stock being bad. It's just the kind of thing that happens on the back of these events. Seen it just far too many times, unfortunately, but we have had a good run leading up to this event, so expect a slight cool off. But don't forget, we are massively below, and that is the main reason why we jumped into this stock, because we are getting it at a great price. So yeah, I wouldn't mind it falling back a bit more. To be honest, another 5% would be lovely. I can load up the boat, but I'll be using my charge for my entry point. That's the video. Like I said, it's my birthday. It's time for celebrations. If anybody wants to buy me a beverage, feel free to buy me a coffee, and I can convert that into a different type of beverage for the weekend. And I'll be back covering Plug a lot more. I need to do a proper detailed video into what Plug are about. I appreciate this is very, very high level this week, but I'm just so busy covering so many different types of stocks. But I will do proper due diligence. We'll get into it at all. But if you are interested to see the kind of expectations I expect from Plug on Sunday's video, again, I'll share the link. You will find that information there about the price targets. So hopefully that's been informative and helpful enough. I'll be back next week. Enjoy the rest of your day and your weekend. Please like, subscribe, help me grow the channel, and I'll speak to you all then. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Yeah. Coincidence. Yeah. Coincidence. Yeah. Coincidence. Something that happens by chance, I think not.